Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let's have breakfast together, if you don't mind. Today we're eating potatoes, fish, and peas in a bowl from the can. These potatoes are not warm. Give me a second. I can't eat cold potatoes. Are these warm? Yeah, those are warm. Yeah. So while that is warming up, where I left off yesterday in the car, going to work, embracing for the BS. But there was no BS. It was actually nice. The kids were being behaved. Some of them were like, "Where were you last week? You just left us," which was really sweet. Maybe it shows their dependency on people. I don't know their situation. But they noticed me because I have a presence. So, that's nice. In lunch, one of the little kids were like, "How come you don't hug us?" Which was cute again. Like, I don't know. I don't want to hug you. Those snot, poop smelling kids. Not all of them. Some of them. Another kid was like, "Why don't you yell at us?" I'm like, "Because you guys don't listen anyway. What's the point?" It's like, yeah, that's true. Good times. The teacher, she's going on a convention or something for 3 days. And she's like, would you be able to prepare a worksheet for da-da-da-da? I'm like, this worksheet? I did last week. Because, if I know what I need to do, I could do it in advance and kind of just be one step ahead. It's like, all right, great. My food's, I'll be right back. Here, watch I don't know if you can see the steam. Talk to them, peas. All right, we back. This is real life, man. I ain't gonna edit this. Oh, man. So, yesterday when I came home, I got an email back from the person who was asking me if I can do 30 freestyle raps about profiles, reading their profiles. And she said it doesn't have to be in a month, but it's monthly. So this would be like an ongoing thing. And she's like, "Can you make like a little demo so I could show to my boss, to her CEO?" So it could be a small company or it could be. So then I got to work. I set my timer, boop, and I started going through the profile. Now names are tricky. Like there's a skit. I forget. You probably know the skit. I think it was funny when it came out. But the guy, the guy who made Nope, the little sketches he did with the other guy, the tall guy, whatever. They always do the Obama. Anyway, he's like calling out names for the class, and he's like, "Balake, Balake," and then the kid's like, "Here." He's like, why don't you answer me? Because my name's Blake. And he's like, "Blake." But yeah, so I don't want to mess up anybody's name because the freestyle, I'm gonna end up like let's say I did say their name's Blake, then I'd probably go Blake, Jake, Cake. So I'll probably be like, "You remember when we had," and I'm on their profile scanning stuff, so it'd be like, "Remember when we had our first birthday cake and the people said you're gonna be great, Jake, and had a great date?" But if I had said Balake, remember, I couldn't use that whole rhyme scheme. I'd be like, "You remember when you went to your first party and they said Balake that you..." So it'll be hard to change it after the fact. I would have to do the whole rap over. So I didn't say her name, and I just went down the profile. I talked about her school. Like every school has a mascot or a theme phrase or whatever. She studied abroad, so I dropped that in. I was like, you could do it in, it's like an IT company. So I'm like, you could do it in America, you could do it with ease, or you could do it abroad in the city of Sydney. So it's very personalized. She's like, oh, I did go to. So then it took me about 2 hours. Not really 2 hours, but I check on my dad, get distracted, stuff like that. But it's about 2 hours for one. How I have it listed is $45 is the cheapest. Then it goes to 50. I think 65 is the highest, that range. So she's like, so I made it, and then I remixed it 3 times to give a different feel, like a hip hop feel, smooth feel, and then like an acoustic-esque feel. But same lyrics, so just remixing it. I was gonna write it up, so I started to write it up, but I just uploaded the samples. I'm gonna write it up, and I hit send, or I hit enter because I wanted it to, but it just sent it. So as I was sitting there trying to type it, she jumped on and she's like, oh my gosh, I love these. And the boss, the CEO, loves it too. So can you give us a range? What price? So pricing is really difficult because you could, like if I was, gold is kind of set at a price. What would it be? I want to say $68 an ounce. I don't know, work with me. We'll say 70 because I can't do math. $70 an ounce. That seems a lot, pretty pricey, but let's say it was. So if you have 2 ounces, your base price can't be lower than $140. And then whatever work that you did to turn it into whatever it was, taxes, you kind of get that kind of price. Whereas if you're like selling Q-tips, Q-tips are a commodity, so you'd have to, your price would be a little different. Anyone can sell Q-tips, but maybe your Q-tips are cute. You have cute Q-tips. Or maybe you have Q-tip the rapper who's pushing your Q-tips, and you get that targets, that. But there's a lot of effort that goes into making prices. Or if you're doing music, if you put your song on iTunes, it's already locked in at $7.99 or whatever they tell you. Now, my thing is, I don't know how to, what's the value of a rap? I mean, there's a benchmark. Those are the prices. So I just took the time. So this is another way you could do hours worked. So it took me 2 hours to make one. And then I plugged that into Excel. And then I just played around with different numbers until it made me excited. So I think I did $20 per hour. And it came up with this. And I did that. I locked in at 35. That seemed in the bulk, because 45 is the lowest, and if you're doing bulk, and it's going to be monthly. So it came out to like, I would make more or less, on this website, Fiverr, they're going to take a percentage, but we might be able to bounce it directly to my account. But it came out to like 2,500, which nothing's confirmed. But could you imagine getting paid to do what you've been doing? That makes, it's enough. I mean, I wouldn't quit my job. I'll still do the teaching. And to make 30, if I'm going by the hour, 2 hours, 60 hours, I would have to find that 60 hours somewhere, either in the morning before I go to work, on the weekends. I just gotta. But that's like, it would be a monthly thing, and it would boost up my confidence. Where I could, when my aunt ever called me back, she'd, hey Matthew, how's that music thing? I said, I'll make him just like, oh, I mean, I don't even think I would tell her. I'll let her keep thinking that little music thing is. And it got me thinking I could like revamp my whole strategy. Target corporate type people, because they're podcast people. Like, I don't know. But yeah, so that's good news for you in the morning. Unless you're a hater. I'm like, man. But, yeah. I never seen me drinking. I guess that's how people look when they drink. Look at that, learning stuff. So the other day, as in like yesterday, or yeah, I had this longing. I was thinking, if I was in Japan, what would I be doing? And I had this like I don't miss Japan. I guess, oh, I miss Japan, but I don't think about missing Japan. But at this moment, I was just thinking, and it's just a different, like my lifestyle was just different. Like I still might have been making a video at this time, because that's what I usually would do. But it was just different. Like when I went to Okinawa, that air was just different, like different. Here is just different too. Like when people like, so what do you miss about Japan? I don't miss Japan. Because I could have settled down in France or Germany or wherever. Different experience would have happened, I'm pretty sure. But yeah. But yeah. The other day, I think yesterday, Monday, I don't, time's just flowing around, but I was watching the spin-off of Big Mouth, and it grew on me. Like I didn't care so much for season 1 and season 2. I'm like that with a lot of shows. Season 1, it's their pilot, they're just getting into it. But except for Heroes. Heroes was like one of the first, not one, but when I watched that, I was enthralled. I was hooked. Same thing with 100. That kind of theme. People appear out of nowhere getting magic or powers, and then they kind of progress along. Very X-Men-y. But yeah, so season 1, season 2, but then moving forward, I started to get into Big Mouth. And they had a spin-off with just the monsters. And because I like Big Mouth, I just kept it going. I'm hooked now. And there was a scene where the love bug monster, well, I guess it's a bug, not a monster, creature. He was taking care of some old lady. And the old lady died. And she was like on her deathbed, and everyone came to see her, and it hit me. Like just like boom, it just hit me. And like it just wasn't expecting that. Out of nowhere, just bam. And tears are flowing out of my face. And I stand up. And I was going to go, my dad was in the kitchen. I was going to go into the kitchen and then give my dad a hug. I miss Mom. But we're not that kind of family. So I just stood there frozen. Tears falling off my face. And I just wiped my face. And then went back to watching the show. I don't think that's normal, or I don't think that's like, I don't know what you would call it. I'm trying to think what my therapist would say. But this is what it was. I don't know. We don't hug. We don't console each other as family. That's just what it is. I mean, maybe I could break the cycle. But it's hard. Like I mentioned, the little kid who said, "How come you don't hug me?" Pretty sure in his family, his mommy and daddy giving him hugs all the time. He's going to grow up like that. I'm working on it. Don't get me wrong. I hug women, girlfriends. We hug, cuddle, all that stuff. And if I had a girlfriend at that point, she'd probably be here. Or I would go see her. And I was like, "Oh, it's okay, man. What do you?" Shed tears with me. So I think that's the hard part, grieving. And that's why I like this show, because they went through the stages of death. And there was this character, Grief, Steve Grief or something. And so all the monsters, if you don't know Big Mouth, monsters are there to help humans cope with certain things. It was based around hormones, so there was hormone monsters, and it would help the kids adapt or get used to growing up, going through puberty. But now they introduce like anxiety, depression, shame, logic, addiction, love bug. Yeah. And grief in this one. And it was beautifully done. So people don't want to grieve. They want to ignore, like, someone is dying, but you purposely avoid them because you don't want to acknowledge that they're dying. I couldn't, because I was here the whole time watching her die, kind of coming to terms with it as it was happening. But it was just really, no, the first seasons were pretty like there's a character that all he did was masturbate. That was like the whole theme. It's a running joke. And so you could miss this beautiful, like you're like, okay, I'm gonna watch it. But then if you did watch it, that's what you're gonna get hit with. But in that moment, it was really sweet, beautiful, touching. It kind of came off like, I'm not gonna remember the name, like a Bo Jackman, Bo Jackman. It's a cartoon, but yeah. Another show I've been getting into more after the first season is Rick and Morty. I didn't really care for the first season. I watch it because it's kind of like a Back to the Future technology type feel. But now they're on season 6, and I like it. I like Beth. I don't know what the daughter's name is, but I like the daughter. Even Jerry gets some. And then the side characters that come up, and then the meta. It's just a great show, in my opinion. I'd be like waiting for it to be on, like, oh, we gotta wait. Like, oh man. But I feel people are like seasons. You meet someone at season 1, that's the pilot, and then you decide, are you gonna keep watching, keep talking to them, and maybe get a season 2, season 3. But sometimes seasons gets canceled. No more season. I feel like I'm a tough season to start with. Like, you really got to sit down. You might have to watch it twice. But those who get to like the 6th season, 7th season, they know. They're on board. But I don't know how to get people to get through the first season, because you have to get, like, it's hard for people to get past. You don't drink? Their heads like, what do you do? I'm like, I make videos on YouTube. they're starting to have heart attacks. What are you? What did you do on the weekend? I went for a walk. Now, you guys watch me, so clearly the video YouTube thing is whatever, and you go with me on some walks, people who like those. So you're like, what are you talking about? That's normal. What do you? But it's again, it's like we're all. You gotta get through it. Yeah. 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 So so my date that I went on last week, she said this, and I thought, wow, we are so similar. She said, da 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 da. So what do you think about this? And then she said, how'd you like that transition? I do that. I'm like, oh my gosh, you talk like that. Like outside the conversation. She would ask me 3 questions in a row. At this point, like, just call her Matthew. But it's not that, man. Her pilot season, her pilot to the show, But when she went to the bathroom, I was sitting there, and there was 4 people, 4 women. I think it was 2 moms and 2 daughters. They came and they sat aside, and they were like, the daughter was telling a story. Now, normally I'm not in people's conversations, but she was in the bathroom. I'm just sitting there. So she's like, yeah, we're at this party, and she was so drunk, and then she passed out, and she wouldn't wake up. So then we're like trying to wake her up, and she wouldn't wake up. And then so-and-so came and he picked her up, and he brought him downstairs. And the mom's like, that's a lot of steps. So maybe she knows. He's like, yeah. And then like there was stuff coming out of her mouth, and it was so disgusting. I was going to call 911, but I called her mom first. And her mom's like, don't worry about it. Just give her water. And then the 2 moms or adults at this table like, and then what happened? And the way they were just telling the story is as if this is a normal thing. Like, it wasn't, you should be responsible. It was more like the moms bought the alcohol to give to him, picked him up. Like, how did it go? So that's normal I don't know their dynamic, but that's a normal thing. And I think she mentioned frat, sorority, college life. My college life, I went to one fraternity, frat, because my girlfriend at the time was pledging. And I would love to say I was super supportive, but I wasn't. I mean, I was supportive. Well, no, I wish I could say I was super supportive. Because the thing is, this is my channel. When I had my logo with my music, like, it's always been me. It's never been, I want to be a part of a certain group. I mean, I do, but I'm not going to, like, be blindfolded and, like, do things or be hazed. Like, that just seems not my thing. So sometimes we get in the argument, like, just be your own person, make your own sorority, da-da-da-da-da. Like, but you don't understand. Da-da. And, but I do find value in that, because when we do talk, sometimes she emails me, or sometimes I see a post on Facebook, and she's with her sorority sisters. So she has made a bond with people that has lasted for years. As you know, I'm usually by myself, bondless. Matthew, bondless. Which maybe if I joined a fraternity, I would have all these brothers, and they would be the shoulders that I cry on. Maybe. Or maybe I wouldn't make it, because I'd just be, well, I gotta do this for? I ain't doing that shit. So to each their own. I mean, I have my own musical type fraternity. It's not a fraternity, but I have some communities that I'm in. But yeah, But yeah, I mean, this happened. She sometimes watches this, but I don't think she watches every video. So one time we were making love, right? And then her phone rings. She's like, because she was just she was pledging. So, you know, the phone rings, you got to answer it. She's like, can I answer it? I'm like, okay. And she picks up the phone and she's like, hello? And like, okay. She's like, I gotta go. I gotta go. Is it okay? I don't remember the words, but I knew she had to leave in the middle of. And I was kind of upset. And then she left. And that would have been a fight though. But anyway, we went to the only time I went to a fraternity sorority thing. And it was really kind of like, what do you call it? What is the movie? The, it was clicky. There was this group and that group. What is the movie? The movie Stomp the Yard? I think it was that one. Yeah, Stomp the Yard. So he comes in and there's this fraternity and that fraternity and they're all like, so they weren't stepping at this, but the parties were like, it was like a hierarchy of who's, and they weren't treating my ex-girlfriend's sorority really nice. I didn't like the vibe I was getting. They were just like rude. My brother did that. Like, he's in a fraternity. And I told him, yeah, I think, I was like, she's in a fraternity, sorority too. And he's like, what is it? And I showed it to him. He's like, that's not a sorority. Like, I don't know the difference, but she has sisterhood, and that's one of the main things, right? Like, nope, that's not a real one. I mean, it has Greek letters. I mean, I don't know. That's how I felt about Koala, the app I use, or anybody who was using that. Anyone who wasn't using an MPC or a machine or any hardware. I'm like, I guess you can make beats on an iPhone. Well, I didn't have that stance because I was making beats on an iPhone, but I always had this kind of, it's like a gimmick kind of thing. Now I mean, I use whatever. It's just a tool. You got to learn these things. And you got to pay. Well, you don't got to pay, but the ones that are free are kind of, you can't really do everything. Like, if you want to export stems, you couldn't really, if it's free. So you got to do it. You can do it, but it's going to be a lot of working around, which is pay. Like, the serious ones usually come in, you only need one, around $40. You get a $40 app, then you can do everything with it. Cubase, Beatmaker, FL Studio is an app. I don't know how to use it. I have it, but I never use the desktop, but that's there. Aria, that's there. That's an $80 app. I used it once because I bought all these apps when I first got the iPad. But anyway, and then there's Koala. It's a $6 app, which can do almost the same thing as like the $40 app. It's $40. But yeah, I just, when I start talking about music, I lose my train of thought. I just float away. Let me see if I can bring it back. Apps. I can't. Wait. I guess I was just talking about being in a group, and I used to look down on people who didn't use like hardware, and then talking about it. So I think that, but it'd be like if you have a gunfight and someone brings a knife, if they're effective with it, they might be able to throw it before you can. But you know, there's like, don't bring a knife to a gun. Well, don't bring an iPhone to a beat battle. That's how I felt. But now I'm ready, man. I want to be that guy. Like, what you got? You got an MPC? You got a OP1? I got this iPhone. Because it has a certain aesthetic. Oh my gosh, did you hear what he made with an iPhone? But iPhone's a computer. It's Apple. It's Mac. It's, the conception is all wrong. And my food is cold. But yeah, where we at here? We're 6:30. Wow. But yeah, I'm recording now because yesterday I made the video at 8 o'clock. It didn't upload till 11 o'clock. It just be like not moving. And I had to go outside to go between buildings, and we had some free time. So I was like walking really slow around the building so my stupid thing would upload in a timely fashion. It didn't. So I ended up just putting the phone in the corner and then going about my day, and then finally it uploaded, but then I had like 2% left of battery, which meant I wouldn't be able to hear my audiobook in the car ride home. So I had to take my computer and then stick the aux into that, and I was freestyling to this beats from Static Link, which is crazy because I bought his samples way long time ago. I bought a lot of samples, forgot about them, and then he removed them from the site. And then I found one of the sample makers on there, so I followed him, and then they all follow each other, and then I found him, Static Link. I followed him. He liked some of my posts. Then he hit me up one day like, yeah, I got a contest. If you use my beats, And I'm like, oh shit, I got your beats. And then I went in, I looked, and there he was. I bought it, but it was on the site. So then I looked for the receipt, and I'm like, yeah, I bought this back then. Wow. I told him I was going to do the contest, but I kind of forgot about it. It takes me like 3 seconds to flip a beat. But I just did, I got to be in. So then, went by, and then I saw that he posted the winners. And then it was right when my album dropped, and I used his song for my intro, the therapy one. So then I emailed him. I said, yeah, I used your song in my newest album. And it really meant a lot to me because, as I was saying, I was coming home from the therapist. I was coming home from my mom's grave because I had to fight with my dad the night before, and I was just there, and I was coming home. I was telling mom, and I came back. And then as I'm walking, I'm thinking about, I'm going to go to therapy, and she's going to be like, mee, mee, mee. So then I started writing. I used to analyze the minds of people every day, only to find they're telling lies to your face. That sounds harsh, but really it's nothing strange. If you walked in my shoes, you will feel the same way. That's cliche, but you'll never feel my pain, bitch. But I use that word filled with endearment. How we talking for months and you ain't hear shit, usually grounded. Now I'm flat. Like all that came from me walking home and thinking about that. So I was just like, yeah, your song really helped me through a rough time. And then I sent him a link, and he's like, wow, your shit's fire, man. And he bought the album. He didn't have to buy it. I wasn't like promoting to buy it, but that's pretty dope, I bought his stuff. He didn't know it. He can't prove that I did or didn't. And that's what I says. He likes my stuff. A lot of people. My stuff's good, on my other channel, no one likes my stuff. Well, I can't say no one is some, but I feel like people see it. Okay, Matt's doing his thing, but they refuse to hit that like button. Like, fuck him, though. It is what it is. But I have other channels. I got a lot of channels. But we got 34, and I got to get ready to go to work. I got to finish my food. Look at this, man. I'm still eating, man. I gotta finish my. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful Wednesday. And keep your fingers crossed about this gig. It's gonna be nice if it goes, man. I'll be flying. I'll be at the point where I could write a book. Well, if you want to make money on Fiverr, this is what you have to do. Look at me. Anyway. All right. Peace.